So the next one is quasi-static process. Quasi-static process. What is meant by quasi-static process? So here the quasi-static process means uh, it is a completely or infinitely slow process, very slow process, because there is a reason why it is a slow process. So to reach equilibrium condition everywhere in process in the process. So what is meant by quasi-static process? What is meant by quasi-static process? So the process evolved such that the system is in equilibrium everywhere from initial state to final state. సో ఇనీషియల్ స్టేట్ నుంచి ఫైనల్ స్టేట్ వరకు ఆ ప్రాసెస్ మధ్యలో ఎక్కడైనా సరే ఖచ్చితంగా ఈక్వలిబ్రియం కండిషన్లో ఉండాలి. సో అలా ఉంటే ఏ ప్రాసెస్ అయినా సరే ఆ ప్రాసెస్ మనం ఏమంటాం, సచ్ దట్ ప్రాసెస్ ఈజ్ నోన్ యాజ్ క్వసిస్టాటిక్ ప్రాసెస్. ఓకే, నౌ see one example. Here what happened? Piston seal arrangement. I am taking some piston seal arrangement W weight at pressure P1 and V1. If I remove the weight W suddenly, the piston will travel rapidly up to the stoppers and making some P2 V2, making some PV2 pressure and V2 volume. So here it reaches from 1 to 2. It reaches from state 1 to state 2. But it is not a quasi-static process because the intermediate states are not in a equilibrium condition. Not in a equilibrium condition. So what is in a quasi-static process? Quasi-static process? So simple. We are saying that infinitely slow process. Why it is infinitely slow process? If it is very slow, then there is a choice to get to the equilibrium condition everywhere without any effects, without any forces, without any rising potentials. Okay, see here. Now here some example. They are the weights with different bisects, different slices, different slices. 1 2 3 4 slices. There are 4 slices. Now I am removing one by one. Now what happened? It reaches different P1 dash V1 dash and P1 double dash and V1 double dash, P1 triple dash and V1 triple dash, and finally reach to its P2 V2 volume. సో ఇది ఏం జరుగుతుంది, ఇక్కడ మనం స్లోగా ఒక్కొక్కటి రిమూవ్ చేయడం వల్ల ఒక్కొక్క డిఫరెంట్ స్టేజ్ వస్తున్నాయి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ దిస్ ఈజ్ స్టేజ్ 1. This is another stage. This is finally 2. So now joining all these states, we are getting some process. So that process is known as quasi-static process. That process is known as quasi-static process. Okay, so what are the notes? See what we understand from this quasi-static process and reversible process. So quasi-static process is infinitely slow process. The another one is frictionless quasi-static process is known as reversible process. In last video I already told what is meant by reversible process. Quasi-static process plus frictionless process is known as reversible process. So frictionless quasi-static process is also known as reversible process. So the another note, it is very important, another note: all reversible processes are quasi-static process, but all all static processes are need not to be reversible process. Okay, this is very important. So all reversible processes are quasi-static process, but not all quasi-statics are need not to be reversible. ఇక్కడ ప్రతి రివర్సిబుల్ ప్రాసెస్ quasi-static ప్రాసెస్ అవుతాయి, బట్ అన్ని quasi-static ప్రాసెస్లు రివర్సిబుల్ ప్రాసెస్ అవ్వాలని రూల్ లేదు. అన్ని quasi-static ప్రాసెస్లు రివర్సిబుల్ అవ్వాలని లేదు, బికాస్ రివర్సిబుల్ ప్రాసెస్ మీన్స్ quasi-static ప్రాసెస్ ప్లస్ ఫ్రిక్షన్లెస్ ప్రాసెస్. But we are not telling that there is no need to be a friction in a quasi-static process. Just quasi-static process is a infinitely slow process and it should be equilibrium everywhere. But we are not talking about here friction. Okay. So it is the main criteria we have to understand.